Squishy and I get a lot of pitches for products on Kickstarter, but we don't write about them because they're not funded yet. So we don't even know if they're getting made. And it doesn't make sense to review something that's never gonna see production. Now, we made an exception for BEERMKR. That's BEERMKR. It's a sleek countertop beer making device that takes a lot of the mess and hassle out of homebrewing. And for someone like me, who hates watching water boil, that's a compelling value proposition. Guys, do you mind sitting literally anywhere else in the house? Come on, I gotta make some beer. Chop chop, let's go. First thing coming out of the box is our kits. They sent me 2 kits to test this out. One is Future IPA. Each bag is really nicely labeled. Also in here is a kit for a Mexican lager. I wanted 2 different styles, so I had asked for a lager and an IPA. BEERMKR comes in 2 pieces. This is actually the device that the beer will go into, which will allow us to serve the beer. You brew in a pouch, and then you put the pouch in here, and functionally it's a countertop beer tap that allows you to serve your gallon of beer to guests. The moment we've all been waiting for. One of the things that most attracted me to the BEERMKR when I first heard from Aaron was the look. It's got this kind of sleek matte gray finish, BEERMKR written right across the front there. It's about the size of the TV that my parents used to bungee cord to the armrests in the front seat in our Dodge Caravan. All right, so I got the BEERMKR on the table. Looks like there's an app you can download that'll actually tell you the temperature of your brew in real time, as well as a bunch of other data. And as you can see, I mean, this is the inside. It's really not that threatening. I've downloaded the app. It looks really clean and slick. Oh, I get to name my BEERMKR. We'll call it Gus. Sup, Gus? Gus is now appearing in the app under my list of devices, and I'm gonna click on Gus because we're ready to brew. All right, once you click on Gus or whatever you're naming your product, you have 2 options. You can start a maker kit, which is one of the pre-made kits that BEERMKR sells. They're all grain recipes, which is super cool for a device like this. You're not using that extract syrup that a lot of first-time homebrew kits start with. Or you can start a DIY kit, which you can make through the BEERMKR store, through the website, if you want to formulate your own recipe. So I thought for the first time, I would go ahead and try something a little easier. I went with a maker kit. So I click Start Maker Kit. It lets me choose which beer we're making. So I'm gonna click on Future IPA, Juicy Tropical Hazy. Oh, cool, it gives me an estimate. Oh, playing a little video. It's gonna give me an estimated timeline for the brew. It's gonna be 10 days until I can actually enjoy the beer. So 10 days from now, I'm gonna be drinking the beer that's gonna be made in this machine right here. There's not that many components to the BEERMKR, which is super nice. How it starts is we actually have these 2 bags. This is the waste bag. This is for collecting the dead yeast and everything that's gonna gather at the bottom. And then this is actually the brew bag where the fermentation is going to take place. We're going to take the brew bag here, and if we lift the brew basket, there's actually these little hooks inside, and apparently the brew basket will sit right on those hooks. And then here as well, you'll connect the bottom of the brew basket to the brew bag. Then we're gonna take the squeeze bar here. You want BEERMKR facing out, and there's a little shelf that this will slide into. Really not hard to set up. And when I'm thinking about the fact that in 10 days, I'm gonna have a gallon of fresh, juicy, hazy IPA, not so bad. Okay, so now we're in the kitchen because it's time to start getting the ingredients for our beer, and one of the 4 main ingredients in beer is water. You can use distilled water. BEERMKR actually recommends that you use tap water. You should not use reverse osmosis water or any other weird type of water. Apparently, as the video says, those waters do not have the minerals that yeast needs for fermentation. All right, so at this point in the process, we open up the lid and we're gonna see if I installed those bags correctly. Pour our water in. I have a little towel here just in case I didn't install it correctly, but it's actually looking pretty good. You should start to see the water come down through here and fill up the waste bag. So after you've done that, what you want to do is add in your grains. Two really cool things about the BEERMKR. One is if you order one of their maker kits, the grains are already pre-portioned for you. So you can just go ahead and open up the grain bags and dump everything right into the top of the BEERMKR because everything's already weighed out. So this is going to be our 2-row. We got some flaked oats. I said there were two things that were cool with the BEERMKR. One is everything's weighed out. Two is the beer is actually going to go through a pasteurization process inside this machine. And so you don't really have to worry about touching anything. Whereas if you were homebrewing, really traditionally, sanitation is key. Sanitation is everything in brewing and homebrewing. But because of what's going to be happening inside this machine here, the BEERMKR actually makes the point that you don't have to be as careful with sanitation. This is another bag of 2-row. This is Carafoam. And last but not least, Vienna malt. All right, so that first 3,000 milliliters of water applies to every maker kit, but each recipe requires a different second add. So after you've put in your grains, there's another opportunity to add water. And this specific recipe calls for 6,800 milliliters of water. So 6,800 minus the original 3,000 we put in leaves 3,800 milliliters of water, which I have here. And then I'm going to carefully pour that over. Just trying to saturate all the grains here, and that's it. We've got the grains, we've got the water, and we're ready for the next step. All right, once you've put all the grains in, you've poured the water over, you're gonna close the lid here. So what was really cool about this process was that it was really easy. I generally struggle with technical things. I'm more of a creative art and words guy, but I did this. I didn't really have any problems. There was one gasket I just didn't connect tightly enough. But point being, if I can do it, anyone can do it. The instructions were step by step. They didn't really miss anything. I didn't have that experience sometimes when I'm reading a technical manual where I'm like, wait a minute, is it this screw or this screw? There are no screws. Everything fits together seamlessly. I did the whole thing in about 15 minutes, and 6 minutes of that was watching my phone, and another minute was filling up water. So really easy, seamless startup process, and I'm excited to come back tomorrow to pitch my yeast. All right, so I actually got a message on my phone that my water's done heating, the mash is done, and it's time to pitch the yeast, and it is time to put in the hops. The liquid in here is actually already cooled to our perfect temperature to pitch the yeast and the hops. There's these alcohol antiseptic pads that also came in it. It is very important at this step that we sanitize the scissors and the bags with the hops and the yeast in it, because the water isn't going to get hot enough again in the next step to kill any yeast and bacteria and stuff that might contaminate the beverage. So I've already washed my hands. I'm about to use the alcohol, but first what I'm going to do is just pop this puppy open. All right, there we go. And I'm going to open up the lid here. Open this baby up. Oh yeah, there we go. So that's all the grain that we extracted the sugar from. and that's all down in this part here. The grain has been disposed of. If there is an opportunity to avoid touching the inside of this, you definitely want to do that, even with a machine like BEERMKR. So of course my camera died right in the middle of that last bit. I was so excited to pitch the yeast that I didn't check my batteries. The long and short of it was that I had all my hops pre-portioned. This recipe is using Citra, Mosaic, and El Dorado. I sanitized each of these packets, cut them open, dumped them right into the bottom there, closed it up. My anxiety about contamination went down at that point. Closed the lid, closed the front, pressed the button, and it took all of 5 minutes. All right, it's been 10 days. I've been waiting patiently. My beer is done. I got a message right on my phone. I'm gonna try this, and I'm gonna try not to screw it up, because I'm pretty famous for screwing things up on like the last step. This is, we're going on 10 days now, so wish me luck. Gonna open up our machine here, and everything's looking pretty good. We got our beer, we got this messy stuff down here, and what I actually want to do now is go ahead and remove this and try not to make a mess. Oh, no, I'm gonna make a mess. All right. That's what towels are for. It's not that I don't read directions. I read directions. It might just be that I'm not very smart. Okay. Oh, that one was easy. Oh, okay. I'm not supposed to unscrew it. There we go. I'm just supposed to, oh, disconnect the valve. There we go. Look at that. So what we got here, this is great. Oh yeah. We got this great bag of beer right here. That's pretty cool. So this is what we are now gonna put in beer tap over there, which is gonna sit in our fridge. All right, so I got this cool beer tap here. I got these lines. The bag gonna sit like that. The valves are just gonna settle in there. Gonna hook up this bad boy. I like these valves. They make everything kind of foolproof. This is why I run a beer magazine and don't brew. But I think this is a lot easier than I'm making it. These just click on here. So now we have 2 lines running to this bag. One is our CO2 line, that's back here. And then up front, our tap line, and you can't see it, but right on the other side of here is our tap. So we'll put our lines inside the machine, making sure nothing's gonna get pinched when I close this baby up. Put our bag in there, and oh. Now there were these 2 CO2 cartridges. We only need 1. They send you 2 just in case, which is pretty nice. They said after you get your beer in here, maybe just try to see if it comes out, and it does. So that means I did that correctly. Who would have thought? CO2, there's a port right in the side here, and there's a threading in there. This will actually just screw right in. I'm hearing bubbles. At this point, we're ready to go. I got 1 gallon of grade A beer in this machine right here. I'm gonna pop that puppy in the fridge. It's gonna sit for 24 hours, and then I'm gonna try it and we'll see what we got. Oh! Ah! Oh no! I may have punctured the bag. I definitely punctured the gallon bag that had all the beer in it. I'll tell you what, I can smell it and it smells great. It smells like it would have been terrific beer. And I have no doubt that if I had followed the directions better, I would have had something great. Well, as long as it's ruined, we might as well try it. Cheers. Well, another day, another beer down the drain. I think what's probably most frustrating is that I was right there I was right there, and I just punctured the brew bag on the last step. The beer that I tried was really good. Of course, it wasn't carbonated, so it just tasted like flat IPA. Good flat IPA, but a flat IPA nonetheless. One of the coolest things about BEERMKR is that even if you mess up, which you're bound to do the first time, the first couple times, it only takes 10 days. You're only making a gallon of beer. So just do it again. It was fun to do. It was easy. I enjoyed the process and I learned a lot. So if I was going to do it again, I think I would nail it. If BEERMKR was going to do one thing better, and I know they're watching, so listen up, BEERMKR. I don't know. It was pretty good, actually. It was really fun. I think not every single direction on the app was perfect. For instance, at one point I took out the squeeze bar and it never told me to put it back. And then a couple steps later, it told me to take it out again. So I had it out that entire time. It didn't affect the final product, but just some discrepancy there. But all in all, it was a pretty easy experience. It was really fun. And if I had done everything correctly, I would be sipping on a great gallon of IPA right now. Moving forward, it would be awesome if BEERMKR tied into some of the larger movements that are happening in professional brewing. For instance, the All Together campaign, Black is Beautiful, Ales for ALS. It would be super, super cool if they could develop homebrew kits around those, or the maker kits for those, so that I could brew that in my own home and share that with my friends. I can see this item being really useful for a techie, somebody who's really interested in new technologies, who likes to try new things. I can see it being dope for chefs and people who want to pair their food with their beer. If you know 10 days from now, you are gonna have a meal coming out, you're cooking for friends or you're having a bunch of people over, you can make a beer exactly to match that meal, and that's pretty cool. I'm sitting here lonely without a beer because all mine dumped into the sink. Luckily, there are over 8,000 independent craft breweries in the country, including Great Notion in Portland, Oregon, who are making way better beer than I'm ever gonna make in my life. So until I make another batch, cheers. Guys. Come on, let's go. I got beer to make. Daddy's gotta make some beer. Kids these days.